We actually created this goal of $1 billion of assets under management. Here's one funny thing. I just said that, which means in 10 years, you can come back. So January 2032, we probably won't be doing the show then, but you'll find me on Facebook or whatever social media. I'm like, hey, did you hit it? And like, if we didn't, like, you can throw some egg in my face.
First of all, January is one of my favorite months. And it's just because we can start fresh. I mean, it's just a fresh start, new goals. Chris and I, we always get together at the beginning of every year, usually very early whenever the kids are in school. We go to brunch together and we rehash our goals from last year, see what goals we met, and then we make new goals together. And it's sort of all encompassing. It's with our business, but it's also personally, like where we want to be, what our spiritual goals are, what our family goals are, and then business goals, because all of that really goes hand in hand. And I just love it. It's always a fresh start. It gets me motivated, or both of us motivated, and we just want to tackle them, right? And so we're kind of discuss and go over that together.
Yeah, and you actually have a lot of experience with this as from your teaching background, because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I remember this correctly when you were doing that. Like teachers, you have lessons plans for the entire semester, right?
Right.
Or at least pretty good framework. So you definitely, and you're naturally, between the two of us, probably the more organized from that standpoint. But yeah, we went over our goals, and just recently we went over the goals we have for. We had the quarterly pulse meeting on Monday with the team, talking about the goals. And what we do, I alluded to this with Brian, is with EOS, which is a book called Traction. So EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System, which breaks down the 9 components, how businesses should be run, specifically small businesses looking to grow, because a lot of folks, their business runs them. And if you can actually get control of your business and create good goals and good systems and everything, then you can run your business. So should we share some of our goals?
Sure.
Our goals, 10-year goal. We said a guy who's going to be on later, he put this little bug in my head. And it took a few weeks for it to really, really penetrate and think of it was a goal that was so far out there that I'm like, it's absurd. And it's almost unobtainable. But then when I broke it down, I was like, but it's not really. It's obtainable for me as an individual, but not as a steadily chipping away, year by year, quarter by quarter, and seeing what we can obtain and where we're going. So we actually created this goal of $1 billion of assets under management. Here's one funny thing. I just said that, which means in 10 years, you can come back. So January 2032, we probably won't be doing the show then, but you'll find me on Facebook or whatever social media. I'm like, hey, did you hit it? And if we didn't, I don't know, you can throw some egg in my face.
That's going to hold you to that.
I know you will. So it's very humbling to put that out there, and it's vulnerable. It puts me in a vulnerable position to say I'm going to hit $1 billion under assets under management. If I only get 500,000, you can laugh at me. I don't care. I mean, 500 million. I don't really care. If we overshoot it, 2 billion, cool. But either way, we set that. So now we can start backtracking where we need to be at various benchmarks in our career. So what we do is we start with a 10-year. It's a very broad goal. I don't really outline too much because so much will happen between now and then. I mean, we're probably all going to be living in pods in the metaverse by then. So, but we can bring it back to 3 years. Where do we want to be in 3 years? And I talked with Brian again with leading indicators. What is the leading indicator? So for me, the leading indicator is money committed, because money committed, there's opportunities for. So as long as we can get the money committed, we have that opportunity, and we know whether personally or some of our collaborative partners that we work with, we're going to be able to find the right asset, the right opportunity to put that in. So within 3 years, I want to raise 25 million.
Put that money
million. I
Mhm.
backtracked that. I had 30 million. I'm like, I'm almost set it at 25,
Mhm.
which I think is still a good goal.
Mhm.
And then at the end of this year, we need to raise 7 million.
It's
I mean,
totally doable.
but we've never done that before, right? Like
We've raised a lot before.
we have 19 million.
19 million, yeah.
19 million over a period of time,
Right.
churning with flips, but we've never raised a single amount for probably just one or two different projects from this. And full disclosure, like this is not a license. This is not an offering for any type of security. If there's anything like that, we'll actually send you PPM, legal docs, and all that stuff. So this is in no way any attempt to try to raise money from anyone. We're just kind of talking about what our goals are going to be, and whenever that time comes, we'll be able to share the appropriate legal docs. But in case that's the goal. If we can 7 million, which means at the end of this quarter, my goal is, because getting off the ground is going to be the hardest part. Working with accredited investors is to get 1 million committed, and then we're going to snowball from there. So that's it. We also have a real estate team with EXP, 10,000 agents over 10 years, 3 years, 2,000 agents in 3 years. And by the end of this year, 465. That's the goal. 465.
Yep.
So what are your thoughts? Like, you had a unique perspective going back to the very beginning, like when I dropped the whole bomb on you, hey, let's flip houses, and it was different for you. What was your perspective whenever I said $1 billion assets under management? Because I think that actually could be for folks working in like a family, whether it's a spouse or a sibling or whatever. Different personalities absorb goals like that differently. But yeah, what were your thoughts when I dropped that on you?
My real thoughts. Let's see. Truthfully, I was like, oh, whoa, okay. Just like with anything Chris Bounds brings to my attention a new idea or something. I'm like, okay, hold on. You got to explain this to me.
I was the same way, but keep going.
Yeah. I mean, break it down for me. Okay. And, with everything, I'm because usually Chris, you're the
driver, the visionary.
Right.
So again, EOS terms. You got,
and I'm in the back, like buckling up my seatbelt, like along for the ride, really, but just really buckling up. But I'm also, supportive, and I want the same things. I mean, our goals are unified. I mean, we're married, we run a business together, so we want the same things. But with this, or like with anything, with real estate, it's you always have to be creative, and you always have to pivot. You can't stay stagnant in this business. It's just not going to work. It's not sustainable. You have to always pivot in different directions, because the market changes, and you kind of have to change and adapt with it. So this, just to me, whenever you brought it up, is just another pivot. And I believe in you. I believe in it, and I was hesitant at first, but I'm on board.
And so I illustrate that because that is and you're definitely more of the communicator between the two of us. But you describe that evolution and thought process. I had it too. I don't communicate that in words typically, but I had that process too. So we all have a box. Like they say, like a great white shark, if you put it in a fish tank, like it only gets like so big. But like if you leave it in the ocean, I don't know what they get, like 50 feet or whatever. So the same thing, like when that bug was put in my head, I'm like, holy cow, like, come on, you ain't gonna do that. And then I'm like, but that's just a limitation I just put on myself.
Right.
Why can't he do that? Why can't I do that?
Exactly.
And then it just changes the question.
And your mindset. I mean,
it's all mindset.
Limit yourself. Right. I mean, that's what stops me from doing things. But I mean, you're limitless. It will not stop you. Maybe at first, And me, I'm like, you get it rolling, and then I'm right there with you. But
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Well, I appreciate that because you clean up the mess I make along the way.
yeah, but I
Okay.
mean, we're still married. It works, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The business and everything. So,
Yeah.
and that again, as we wrap up, because we have our next guest, but that again goes hand in hand with the goals you make. I mean, like I said, we make goals with our business every year, at the beginning of every year, but we also do it with our marriage, because it's just so important to have, if you're business partners with your spouse, is to align that together, because without, a healthy marriage together, you're not going to have a healthy business, you're not going to have a
Yep.
healthy family life. It's just all of that. Well, first it starts with God, and I'm not going to preach, but so that's very crucial and the center of everything. And then from there we, set our goals, and it just, I mean, God always provides, and it just, and when it doesn't, we just come together and um you know seek his will and see what's going to happen next. Have
Love
faith.
it, love
That's the most important thing, is to have faith in your goals, believe in them, and execute, for sure.
love
So
it, love it.